So hello, my name is Romy Phillips, and I'm going to be leading a session for you today, a 1-hour session. So today I'm just going to take you through a lot of fundamentals for sun salutations, just to get us moving. I'm finding that even for myself, we're stuck in the house, and it's kind of nice to have some energy and get moving. So we'll do some basic sun salutations and standing poses, and then we'll get on the floor. So if you have props at home, feel free to use whatever is convenient for you, but I have 2 blocks and a strap and 2 blankets, okay? So I want you to sit on 2 blankets, or if you have a pillow or a couple blocks, I want you just to sit down. And let's just start off making sure our lumbar spines are lifted up. So if I were to turn to the side, for example, I want to make sure, because we'll be sitting here for a while, that your lumbar spine is lifting up. So it's like a slight tilt to the pelvis, and we lift up from here. So Dandasana for sitting on the blankets, right? And then I'm just going to turn around so I can face you. So if I'm sitting in Dandasana, I'm also going to be mirroring you, because I've done this with Zoom, and I realize that I'm mirroring people. So it's my left shin in front, but it's your right shin that will be in front. And feel free to support your knees. If you have any knee injuries or your hips are feeling a little tight, you can always support the thighs if you need to with blocks. And then let our hands rest on top of our thighs. And we're just going to close our eyes and sit for a moment. So I want us to just get comfortable in our seated posture first. You're rooting down through your sit bones and lengthening from your lumbar spine. Lifting up through the crown of your head. Feel your collarbones widen. Shoulder blades down your back. And just start to breathe. Inhale lightly through your nose. Inhale, slowly pause at the height of the inhalation. Exhale, feel yourself just relax a little bit more. And we're just going to be working with the qualities of the breath. So the whole idea is that we sit and we breathe freely and evenly through our nose, and just letting that evenness move through our bodies, the balance of energy. Using inhalation to feel expansive, lightness, and the exhalation to release tension. Really rooting down with this exhalation. Relaxing the arms, the elbows. And just feeling your thighs move towards the floor. So just sitting here for a few moments, your Ujjayi breath. Just letting you also be aware that the Ujjayi breath is a fundamental breathing technique that we'll be using throughout our practice. So with Ujjayi breath, we're emphasizing the inhalation, the expansive qualities of the breath, and we're smoothing out the transition between the inhale and exhale. Trying to find an even breath. Got 1 more breaths here. Start to quiet down your thoughts, become more focused, let everything else go. And now open your eyes, everybody, and straighten out your legs. So if your right leg was in the front, recross the shins with the left leg in front. This is my right, but it's your left. And we're just going to sit a little bit longer and open up the shoulders. So first, just bring your hands down by your side and lift your spine. Lift from the lower back again. Arms out to the side, palms facing down. So I want you to externally rotate the arms so your arms face up towards the ceiling. Look up with the chest. And then cross the right arm over the left. Right, so my left, but your right. Garudasana arms, and if you can't clasp the fingers, don't worry, you can just either hold your shoulders or cross as best as you can, or just do one arm at a time. But the whole idea is that we're just trying to gently open up the shoulders and prepare for chaturanga later. So I want you to lift your elbows up towards your chin and widen across your shoulder blades. And then just start to focus on widening and expanding the upper back as you inhale, widen across the shoulder blades, expand. Exhale, release the tension in your ears. Just do this for several breaths. Inhale all the way up into your chest, widen across your shoulder blades. And exhale. Once again, breathing softly in your throat. Good. Release your arms. Arms to the side again. External weight to the arms. So I want you to move from the shoulder sockets, like the shoulder blades move down your back and stabilize on your back. Recross the arm. So opposite arm on top. This time it's my right, but your left. And lift your elbow up towards your chin. Once again, Garandasana arms. And several breaths here. Deep breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, once again, feel your thighs move towards the floor as well. Exhale. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Once again, inhale. Exhale. And finally, the 5th breath here. And exhale, thighs moving down towards the floor. Good, now release your arms and just sit for a moment. Just kind of notice how that opened out the upper back and shoulders and maybe even your hips a little bit. Okay, let's come on to our hands and knees, okay? So I'm just gonna move my blankets to the side. So come on to your hands and knees into a tabletop position. The creases of your wrists are lining up. And then spread your fingers, root down through the palms, thumbs, and index fingers. So we want to try to root down through the entire width of our palms. Now inhale, chest forward, shoulders away from your ears, just a little cat-cow, just to move a little bit. Exhale, shoulder blades spreading apart, head down. Inhale, sternum forward. So Vinyasa, cat-cow. Exhale, move. And you can add a little variation into this if you want. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, I'm just going to move my hips towards my heels a little bit and press my palms down. Inhale, sternum reaches forward. Exhale, even here, I move my hips back. My navel pulls in towards the lower back. And then one more time, inhale up. Sternum reaches forward. Get ease at the tip of your nose. And this time, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. So for this first down dog, I want you to bend your knees and lift your tailbone up. Move the front ribs towards the top of your thighs. Let your head drop down. Spread your fingers, root down. Take a few breaths here. Move your hips towards your heels. Move the hips away from the shoulders. Press into your palms and thumbs, index fingers. Keep your knees slightly bent for this first down dog. And let's come onto our knees for our child's pose. Now I want you to take a block, place the block here. The crease of your forehead, where your hairline is meeting your forehead, you're going to place that on the block. And then press your palms into the floor. So feel your rib cage resting on your inner thighs. Spread your fingers and root down to the palms. So I want you to root down to your palms and lift your forearms up. Firm the forearms in. Firm your triceps in. Let your head rest on the blocks and move your hips toward your heels and stay here for a few breaths. Then I'll come back up, move the block to the side. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana again. So come up, Feet hip width apart. Maybe start to bend the knees or straighten the legs, whatever feels best for you. And let's walk our feet up to our hands. And we're in Uttanasana. Good, now slowly coming up, and we're in Tadasana, okay? So just turning to face you for a moment. You can stay at the top of your mat, but I want you, I practice Tadasana, feet together, hands on my sides. I know that some people have their feet slightly apart, so if your lower back is sensitive, separate the feet, or if you're pregnant, separate your feet, okay? Otherwise, let's come to the top of the mat, hands on by your side, collarbones wide, and we're just going to go through a very slow vinyasa first, just sort of to break down parts of Surya Namaskar A, and we'll take it further as we repeat it. So I want us to slowly inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Now, if your hands do not touch the floor, feel free to use your blocks here if you need them, okay? Ardha Uttanasana, extend your spine, lengthen. So here you want to extend your spine, either hands on the floor, hands on the blocks, or hands on your shins, all right? Lengthen, look forward, gaze towards the tip of your nose, and let's just step back into our first plank position. Lower down to the floor for this first one. Come all the way down, we're just moving. Fingers behind the shoulders and point your toes. Let's go into a very low Bhujangasana Cobra. Look towards the tip of your nose, draw your elbows in. And then tuck your toes under. Press back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then hold for several breaths. Lift your tailbone up. Let your head drop down. Arms firming in. 5 breaths here. Arms firming in. Lift your hips up and back. Walk your feet up to your hands. Ardha Uttanasana, extend your spine. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. And hands down by your side. Okay. So what I wanted to do today is to kind of break down the different parts of that Surya Namaskar A. That was a modified version with Cobra. But I find that even if I'm in a classroom, people have a hard time with the plank, the chaturanga. So let's just break it down a little bit. So I want you to come, take your block and stand at the back of your mat. Place the block between your thighs, right? So you're hugging the inner thighs in towards the block, the outer hips are hugging in. Come to the back of your mat. Feet are parallel, neutral. So even here, before we go into this plank or chaturanga, I want you to lengthen your tailbone down and lift your frontal hip bones up so you feel this sort of block here, this engagement of your lower abdomen. Root down through your feet and reach up to the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come forward, Uttanasana, hugging the block. And then walk your hands forward and come into a plank position, Ardha Chaturanga. Hug the block in, look forward. Draw your tailbone toward your heels. Allow your chest to reach forward. Notice how everything's integrating here. I'm able to firm my thighs, straighten my knees, push my heels away towards the wall behind me. I lengthen my chest forward, root down to the palms, gaze towards the tip of my nose. And then from here, I want you to shift back into downward facing dog, hugging the block. Just stay here for a moment. Inhale, look forward, shoulders over the wrists, push into the palms, lift the front ribs, draw your tailbone toward your heels, and then shift back into downward facing dog. One more time, inhale, lengthen, look forward, and you should feel like you can hover above the floor. Lift the front ribs, hug the block in, and exhale, shifting back. Good, now walk your hands backwards towards your feet, bow forward, Uttanasana, and then slowly coming up, Tadasana. Take the block away, and let's come to the top of the mat. All right, so I want us to think about that pelvic alignment and that sort of engagement in the front body as we move into chaturanga, okay? So let's start off with working towards Surya Namaskar A slowly again. Inhale up, exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana, head down. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana, step back into plank, which is also called Ardha Chaturanga, half Chaturanga. So imagine you have the block between your thighs, you're hugging the block between the thighs, an imaginary block. Firm the thighs in, hips in, look forward. Now for Chaturanga, you can either bring your knees to the floor and lower your chest to the floor, or, I'll just repeat, you could come down with straight legs. We're going to come down all the way to the floor. So look forward, shift forward so that your body comes to the floor and your fingers are behind your shoulders. Press down with the palms, draw your elbows in, press your toes into the floor. Lift the front of your shoulders up, draw your elbows in and hold. You should feel the upper back moving. Hips are on the floor. Keep breathing. This is Bhujangasana. Breathe. Feel the heels of your hands move towards your hips, chest up. And then exhale down. Now, if you want to work with up dog, slowly lift your shoulders up, Bhujangasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, lift your knees off the floor, chest up. And downward facing dog, shift back. And let's hold for 5 complete breaths here. Each inhale, exhale is 1. Press down through your palms, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look up, step up to the top of the mat. Ardha Uttanasana, exhale down. Press into your feet, arms floating up, and hands down by your side, Tadasana. So let's do 2 Surya Namaskar A's. You decide if you're doing Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. We'll just do 2 and I'll keep the pace for you, okay? Slowly inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank. Chaturanga, Cobra and or up dog, and downward facing dog. 5 breaths into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Continue to root down with your palms, spread your fingers, firm your triceps in as you lift your tailbone up, and just feel your spine lengthening. 3, front ribs lifting up. 4, and 5. Look forward, stepping up, or some of you are hopping. Ardha Uttanasana, chest forward. Exhale down. Inhale, coming up. And hands down. One more time, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back, Chaturanga. Up dog or Cobra, lift your chest. Downward facing dog and hold. So as you hold this down, I just want you to kind of feel first that you're rooting down through the hands, the feet. You can still bend your knees if you have to. And just all it gives that you keep breathing and create that space, the space between the vertebrae, lengthening your spine. And keep your gaze somewhere between the legs, just keeping your head down. Good, now step or hop up. Ardha Uttanasana, chest forward. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, come up. And hands down, Tadasana. Just pause for a moment and find the breath. Just focus on calming down your breathing for a moment. Okay, now let's step aside for some standing poses. This is going to open up our hips. So I want you to get your 2 blocks, come to the middle of your mat, open your legs wide so your ankles are literally lining up underneath your wrist. Place a block behind each foot. And then stand with your feet parallel to the edges of the mat. So this is important. The stance shouldn't be too narrow unless you feel that you're having a hard time balancing. But you want to have the feet wide enough and hard so that we can actually work through the hips. The advantage of the standing pose is that we get to open the hips a little bit, right? So literally notice how my wrists are literally lined up over my ankles. So ankles underneath your wrists. Now, reach to the lift up to the sternum, reach for your fingertips, and even here my tailbone is releasing down, my lower abdomen is lifting up. Arms to the side. Now turn the left foot in, right leg turns out from the hip socket. I'm heel to arch line with my feet. We're going into Parsvakonasana first. So bend your leg. Notice how the knee has to be over the heel. It should be lined up directly over your heel. Place your hand on this block behind your ankle. Now, what height should the block be? My arms are kind of long. I need to go lower so I can actually feel this length. I want to lengthen through the right side of my waist so it's open on the left side of the waist. And the knee is over my heel, but the knee is also pressing against my upper arm, right? So as I press my knee against the arm, my tailbone tucks under. Now, the right tailbone tucks under. So now, left arm externally rotates and reaches out over your head. And I want you just to gaze towards your hand. Press with the outer edge of your left foot. Inhale, reach to that left arm. So you want to feel this extension to the side of your body. Keep pressing your right knee against your upper right arm. And draw that right hip under. Open the left side of your page and keep breathing. Parsvakonasana. And then inhale, slowly coming up, straighten the right leg, turn your right leg in, left leg turns out. Heel to arch alignment. Press with the outer edge of your right foot. Bend your left leg. So notice how my thigh is moving parallel to the floor, right? Place your hand on the block behind your left foot. Adjust the height for your body. And then get your knee to line up over your heel. Press the left thigh against the left arm. Open the right shoulder, open your chest so the right side of your cage is opening up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach the right arm out over your head. Press to the outer edge of your right foot and continue just to bend your left thigh. Keep reaching, look towards your right hand, inhaling and exhaling. So as you inhale, you can reach the arm. And as you exhale, you can really root down through your feet. Maybe bend your leg a little bit more. So this gets into the hips and the sides of the waist. Good. Now inhale, slowly coming up. Turn your left foot in. We're going to keep our feet apart. Arms to the side. Left foot in, right leg turns out. Trikonasana this time, triangle pose. So this time the legs are straight. I'm lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Bringing my hand down behind my right foot. Hand can be on a block. Now I want you again to lengthen the right side of the waist and draw that right hip under. And at the same time, you're opening the left shoulder, right? Now this time the arm is just lined up over, left arm over the right arm. And extend with both sides of your neck so you still reach to the crown of your head, only gazing maybe in front of you. If you are feeling okay, you can start to look up at your left hand, but you can also just keep your head reaching out to the side, like the crown of the head just reaching out, and the left arm reaching up. Good. Now root down to the inner edge of your right foot and firm your right thigh. Breathe and lengthen through the sides of your waist. Good, and then slowly inhale up, turn the right leg in, left leg turns out, Trikonasana. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring your hand down to the block behind the left foot. Arm reaches up, open your chest, revolve. So get the right side of your cage to open up, but at the same time you draw your left hip under, right? So keep pressing down to the inner edge of your left foot and open your chest, right arm up, breathe. Inhaling. Exhale, chest open, reach up to that right arm. And then slowly inhale, come up. Turn your left foot in and step your feet together. Tadasana. All right, so one more standing pose before we move on. Have your blocks placed in front of you. All right, so just in case you need them. Tadasana A. So starting from Tadasana again, open your feet wide. Feet parallel to the edges of the mat. Reach those fingertips. So ankles underneath your wrist. Firm your thighs as you draw your tailbone and lift your frontal hip bones. Good. Hands on your hips, pause. Inhale up. Exhale, come all the way down. Now, if you need to, you can place your hands on blocks. All right, if you need to, place your hands on blocks. I'm just going to have my hands on the floor. The hands are shoulder width apart. Lengthen your sternum forward. Really feel the navel lifting and your sternum reaches forward. Good. You're walking your fingers back behind your toes. Draw your elbows in and start to bring the crown of the head towards the floor. And stay here for 5 breaths. 1, inhaling, shoulders lifting up. 2, draw your elbows in. 3, press into your palms. 4, keep breathing. 5, shift forward so the weight is sitting in your feet. Good, and then slowly inhale, lengthen, come up. Come up onto your palms and your fingertips with the hands on the blocks. Hands on your hips. And step your feet together. Tadasana. Okay. So now we're going to move on. We're going to be working on breaking down Surya Namaskar B a little bit, right? So you will need your blocks. I want you to take your blocks and place them outside of your mat. We're just going to work on a transition of the leg moving forward first before we actually do Surya Namaskar B. So I want you to stand at the top of your mat, Tadasana. Let's just do a Surya Namaskar A to move again. Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Let's just do a Surya Namaskar A. So step back into plank. Chaturanga, elbows in. Cobra in or up dog, lift your chest. And downward facing dog. And let's just stay here and pause for a moment. Feet hip width apart. And maybe start to notice a little difference in your down dog. Maybe for some of you, it might be easier to straighten your legs a little bit, or the hamstrings feel a little bit more opened up. Stay here and pause, breathing. Okay, now bring your knees to the floor and watch for a moment. Okay, so we take the blocks, place them here. Your hands are going to be on the blocks. You're going to come back to down dog and shift back. And then from here, step your feet in just a little bit closer. It's going to be easier, not together, but just slightly apart. You're going to carry the right foot up. See how I'm pulling the thigh towards my chest? See if you can just place the foot up between the blocks and then step back. Left leg up, come forward, place the feet between the blocks, push off the blocks, lift and come back. So let's do this a couple times, all right? So stay here in down dog for a moment. Rise up on the balls of your feet, lift your right leg up, pull it up towards your chest. See if you can just carry your foot all the way up. Now if it was difficult for you to carry the foot up, you can always use your hand and move that foot up there, okay? Press back. Let's try that again. Also, another option is to bring your knees to the floor, carry your foot up, and straighten the right leg. And then try to step back. So all of these things open up the hips. So one more time, and lower back. So hips and lower back here. And then this time, let's come up into Anjanasana. So bend your left leg slightly. And what I want us to do is to feel that we can lift the frontal hip bone. So I have to bend my left leg a little bit so I can do that. So I don't want to be here in my Anjanasana. I want to have my hips in a more neutral position. Reach the arms up. Stay here and lengthen from the back of the waist, from the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, And then slowly exhaling, bending your right leg, so thighs parallel to the floor, reach to the sides of the waist. Exhale, release. Step back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Other side. Pull your thigh up. Place your foot up between the blocks. And then one more time, Anjanasana. Bend your right leg slightly, just helps your balance a little bit. And want us to get the hip bones up. So frontal hip bones up, lengthen your tailbone down, right? And then this also makes me a little bit more stable, right? Arms up. I can bend my right leg a little bit. Lift my chest, lift up. Reach to the sides of the waist, extend through the fingertips. Arms firming in. Keep bending your left leg. And exhale, release. Good. Stepping back, downward facing dog, and hold. Just for a moment. Walk your feet up to your hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. And then slowly coming up. And hands down, Tadasana. Okay. So now we're going to practice Surya Namaskar A B very slowly, right? I'm just going to keep it on the level 1, 2 side. For some of you, this might be new. For some of you, you've been doing Surya Namaskar A B. But we're going to do it very slowly and really work on Virabhadrasana 1 and holding Virabhadrasana 1. Okay, now starting in Tadasana. Utkatasana. So notice how I'm bending my knees. My fingers can almost touch the floor, and I keep my hips down, arms up, look up at my hands, and then exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. We're still just stepping back at this stage right now. Try, if you can, to hover for a moment. If you have to come to the floor, that's fine. Chaturanga. Inhale up. Cobra or up dog, lift your knees off the floor, chest up, and downward facing dog. Now, I want to place the right foot up between my hands, so carry that foot up, just like we did. If you still need the blocks, that's fine, but scoot your foot up. So in the outer edge of your left foot down, slowly come up, Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Bend that right leg, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Pause. Chaturanga, elbows in, look forward. Up dog, lift your knees and chest. And downward facing dog. Good. Left foot comes up. See if you can just carry that foot all the way up. Scoot your foot up if you have to. Right foot down. Sweep the arms up. Press with the outer edge of your right foot. Reach your arms up. Lift your chest. Exhale. Look forward, Chaturanga, elbows in, up dog, lift your chest, lift your knees off the floor, and exhale, downward facing dog. Several breaths here, inhaling and exhale. That's one complete cycle of breathing. 2. Keep lifting your front ribs towards your back ribs. 3, arms firming. 4. And 5, look forward. Step up. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Notice I'm bending my knees, hips down, arms up. And press up to standing. Pause. We're doing that one more time, just one more time. That's it. Utkatasana, inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthening, Ardha Uttanasana. Stepping back, plank. Chaturanga, elbows in. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, up dog, and downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot forward, Scoot your foot up between your hands. Virabhadrasana 1. Arms up. Lower down. Chaturanga. Look forward. Elbows in. Collarbones wide. Up dog. Chest lifts. Exhale. Down dog. Left foot forward. Virabhadrasana 1. Press into the outer edge of your right foot. Lift up. Lower down. Chaturanga. Up dog, knees off the floor, chest lifts. And downward facing dog. Good, now stay here and hold for several breaths. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now notice how much more length you're getting in your spine. Maybe perhaps the length in the back of your legs. So your inner thighs are moving back. Your calves are descending down towards your heels. Spread your toes, move your shins back. Good, now look forward. Ardha Uttanasana, exhale down. Utkatasana, arms up, and press up to standing. Okay, so standing in Tadasana, hands up by your side. Now we're just going to come and stay in Virabhadrasana 1. So let's just do Vinyasa, and we're going to stay in Virabhadrasana 1. So let's just do one more. It's not a complete Surya Namaskar A B. We're just going to go into Virabhadrasana 1. So Utkatasana, exhale down, inhale, look forward. So one more Vinyasa here. Chaturanga, up dog, knees up the floor, chest up, and downward facing dog. So let's come to Virabhadrasana 1 and stay here. So right foot forward. Now, let's just kind of work on the foundation here. My left toes are pointing towards the upper left-hand corner of my mat. The outer edge of my left foot's pressing down. I'm coming up. Let's just place my hands on my hips for a moment. The tendency is to kind of not be quite neutral. I want us to get our hips as more in a neutral plane as much as possible. So left hip bone moving forward, inner left thigh moving back, bending this right leg so it's more parallel to the floor as much as possible. And let's reach the arms up. Now the arms, you want to move the inner arms towards your ears and lift from the back of the waist and the ribs. Lift up, so the arms are actually rotating. Keep pressing your right heel into the floor and move your shin forward. Now if your shoulders feel open, bring your palms together. If your shoulders feel a little stiff, just keep your hands apart. And let's stay here and hold. Press your heel into the floor. Move your shin forward, chest up. 4, bending a little bit more. And 5. Now keep your right leg bent, open into Virabhadrasana 2. So I'm moving the heel to arch foot so the heel lines up in the center arch of my back foot. This thigh is parallel to the floor. Reach to the arms evenly. Pull weight into the outer edge of your left foot. Firmly lift the inner left thigh. And then turn them towards your right hand. So you want to reach into both arms evenly so your torso is centered over your hips and pelvis. Keep pressing into your heel. Move your shin forward. 3, thigh parallel to the floor. 4, and 5. Bring your hands to the floor. Either step back to down dog, or if you have enough energy, a little more energy, you can do one more chaturanga here. Up dog and down dog. Good. Left foot forward. So this is our last vinyasa here. Turn the right toes towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Outer right heel presses down. Slowly come up, bring our hands to our hips, and just guide that right hip forward. Push into the outer edge of your right foot. Press your left heel into the floor. Press, and notice I can really bend. If I really work with the feet, I can bend the leg a little bit more. Arms up and breathe. So once again, inner arms towards your ears and lift your chest up. Firm your triceps in. Keep inching your shin forward and lift. If you can bring your palms, you can look up at your hands. 3, arms firming in. 4, bend your leg. And 5, open out into Virabhadrasana 2. So start to inch your shin forward. Reach into the arms evenly. Firm the inner right thigh. Press your heel down. Lift your chest. 4 and 5. Now either move through vinyasa or step back to down dog. This is your last vinyasa here, if you want to do one. Good. Downward facing dog and hold. Last down dog, shift back. So just begin to slow down your breathing. So Surya Namaskar A B really builds up some heat, so you should be sweating by now, which is a good thing. Arms firming, tailbone lifts. And now step up. Ardha Uttanasana, chest forward. Exhale down. So we're going to come into chair pose and hold. Utkatasana. Utkatasana. Keep those knees bent. Put a little weight in your heels, just a little bit. Drive your hips down. But at the same time, lift your arms up. Even the belly is lifting up, right? Draw the hips down, arms up. 2. Stay here. Press your heels down. 3, 4, and 5. Hands down. Tadasana. Okay. So I do want us to do a standing pose. Balancing pose. And then we'll get to the floor. So just thinking with some fundamentals today, Vrikshasana. Okay, so the options are foot here on your ankle if you're needing help with balance. If you have a chair or a wall you can hold on, you can also use that. Foot on your calf, but not your knee. Or even foot comes up higher on the thigh. You can also hold on to your ankle if you need to for more stability. Right, so we're just going to stay here for 5 breaths. Press your palms together. Inhale, lifting up. Reach up to the crown of your head. 3, press your foot against your inner thigh. Firm that left hip in. The outer hip left is firming in. And 5. Now lower your leg down, right? Let's do the other side. Vrikshasana, tree pose. So starting with Tadasana. So just maintain as much of Tadasana as you possibly can, right? Leg either, like I said, ankle, calf, or thigh. So rooting down through your standing foot. Hip firms in, chest lifts up. Your hands can be on your hips or Anjali Mudra. Lift your chest and sternum. Root down through your standing foot. Lift up to the sternum. Several breaths here. So as you root down through the foot, you feel that you're lightly lifting up. There's this energy moving up through the crown of your head. And release. Tadasana. Okay, so now we're going to get to the floor. Let's just do a very simple vinyasa to get to the floor. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, step back. And just come into a child's pose. Toes together, knees apart. Move your hips back toward your heels and let your head come down towards the floor. Child's pose. So you can have your hands by your ankles. The shoulders can release down. The hips can release down. Breathe into the back ribs. Okay. Let's have a seat. So we're going to just do a very simple abdominal asana, Navasana, right? And then we'll go bridge pose and we'll finish up. Okay, so sitting in Dandasana for a moment, collarbones wide. So we're going to do this 3 times, and we'll do the first one with bent knees. So I want you to bend your knees, and we find a weight on our sit bones like this. Shift back and keep your lower back lifted. Hold on to the back of your thighs. Press your thighs together and lift your chest. So this first Navasana, we're going to hold for 5 breaths and really kind of focus on bringing the legs together, lifting up from the lower back, lifting from your abdomen, lifting your chest. See if you can just stay here in balance, keeping everything hugging in. And this is the most modified version, okay? So bring your feet down. So the next one, we let go of the legs if you want, or stick with holding on to the back of your legs. Navasana. Hands reaching forward. Press your thighs together. Stay lifting up from the lower back. Lift your chest. Gaze towards your toes. Now bring your feet down. See if you can just stay here. Now the last one, Navasana, so we can try, you can just watch if you want. You can straighten the legs and hold on, or you can let go. Now if you find yourself losing your lower back, come up again and work with the knees bent. So last Navasana. 1, lift your chest up. Press your thighs together. 2, thighs firming. 3, 4, and 5. Great. Bring your legs down. Oh, boy. Now sit with your hands by your hips and just watch for a moment, Dandasana. So we're going to lay our back and work with bridge pose, Setu Bandha. So the first thing we're going to do is place one of your blocks, if you have one, between your feet. Okay, like this. Right. Then you're going to lie down. The knees are over your heels. Have your strap nearby. Press down with your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up, pin your shoulders down. And for this first one, you can hold onto your mat and just pin your wrists down and your shoulders down. Feel yourself breathing into your chest. Knees over the heels. Press down with the soles of the feet. Chest lifts. Arms pinning down. Good, and then slowly coming down. All right, so one more time. Now this time you have a choice. You can interlace your fingers underneath your tailbone, underneath your hips, and pin your wrists down. If your shoulders are tight, you can also use a strap and draw your hands towards your heels. Or you can continue to work with holding onto the edges of the mat. So let's come up, pin your wrist down, upper back is lifting. Press down to the triceps, the elbows, the wrists. Move your tailbone towards the back of your thighs, towards your knees. Lift your chest. Upper back continues to lift. And then slowly coming down. Pause. Okay. Bring your knees to your chest and just gently rock from side to side. And let's just come into a simple twist before we sit up for a moment. Just let your thighs come to the side. Look toward your right shoulder. And then twist to the other side. Look toward your left shoulder. Good, and then bring your knees to your chest once again. And let's roll to our side and come up and have a seat. All right, so we're just going to do a couple of seated postures. If you have a blanket, I suggest that you sit on one. We're going to be doing Janu Shirshasana and Marchasana 0 and C. So I want us to find, again, that Dandasana where we actually are lengthening from the lumbar spine. All right, and you can get your spine lift up. So I'm going to just turn towards you for a moment, then I'll turn back to the side. So you're bending your right leg, okay, your right leg. I'm mirroring you again, so it's my left leg. So place your foot against your inner thigh. If your knee is off the floor, put a block underneath your thigh, right? So you don't want to put too much pressure on the knee. Also have a strap handy in case you need to reach for your foot. So I'm going to demonstrate from the side and work with my right leg. So right foot up against your inner thigh. Lock underneath the thigh only if your thigh does not touch the floor. The strap can go around the foot. All right, so inhale, lengthen your spine, pressure right down towards the floor. Find that length first. Janu Shasana, walk your hands towards your foot. Now, some of you might be here, and some of you may not need the strap. If you don't need the strap, you can hold on to your foot, to the ball of your foot, the outer edge of your foot, lengthen your spine so the navel's moving towards your knee, and just bring your head down towards your shin. Continue to press your right thigh down towards the floor. Several breaths here. Good. Slowly inhale, come up. And slowly release your leg. Other side. Bend your left leg. Allow your thigh to move down towards the floor. Reaching forward, lengthen your spine. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, bring your head down towards your shin. Move your head towards your toes. Keep pressing down through your sit bones. And once again, thigh either on the floor or on a block. Hand on a strap if you need to. Inhale, lengthen, look forward, and slowly coming up. Dandasana. Okay. Bend your right leg, the knee is over your heels. Press your foot down. We're going to do Marchasana C. Now, a block can be behind you if necessary. My fingers can touch the floor, but I want to move my left wrist towards my right thigh. Left arm up, inhale. Hook your elbow outside of your knee. Move the wrist towards your thigh and turn slowly, revolving. Press down to the right foot. So keep moving your chest and look out over your right shoulder. And come back to center and straighten out your leg, Dandasana. Other side. Bend your left leg, knee over your heels, stamp your foot down. Left hand behind you, right arm up, inhale, lift. Hook your elbow outside of the knee, press your foot down. So notice how I'm really closing the gap between my rib cage and my thigh. I'm still lifting up from the base of my spine. And I'm using my elbow and thigh pressing together to help me revolve a little bit deeper, right? So keep moving from the rib cage. And then slowly look out over the left shoulder. And then coming back to center. Dandasana. Okay. Last thing before we lie down and finish up. The time really flies, 1 hour. So I want us to do this like a little bit of a forward fold sukhasana. Just open the hips and it's also kind of slightly restorative and calming. And you may or may not need a couple blocks, right, or a couple blankets. Starting off in Dandasana. It's my left leg, but it's your right leg. I'm crossing the legs at the shins like this. My feet are flexed. It's almost as if I could flex my feet and stack them up underneath my thighs. And I'm just going to come forward. My head can rest on a block or two. Hands forward. Everyone's different here. And then just press your palms down. Several breaths here. Keep rooting into your sit bones. Let your thighs drop down. Press the palms into the floor, arms coming in. And then it's slowly coming up. Inhale, lift. And let's change the legs. Recross the legs. Opposite leg crosses in front. Allow your thighs to come down towards the floor. Stack the feet, underneath the thighs. Flex your feet. And then use a block to support your head and come forward one more time. And then slowly coming up, everyone. All right, so one more thing before Shavasana. Let's lie on our back and do one more final simple twist. So I want you to just lie down. Feet are hip width apart. Hands down by your sides. Press into your feet. Lift your hips up and shift them over to the left. Cross the right leg over the left of the thighs. And then bring your knees over. Look towards your left shoulder and come into a simple twist. Allow your thighs to come down towards the floor. Look towards your left hand. Reach your fingers away. Chest opens. Come back to center. Uncross your legs. Find your center, pelvis center again. Now shift your hips over to the right. Cross your left leg on top. Bring your knees over to the left and look towards your right shoulder. Come back to center. Unfold your legs. Let's bring our knees to our chest and just gently rock from side to side. Just like little circular motions, side to side. Just release the lower back. And then let's take, if you have 2 blankets, or you can use 2 blocks if you want. Let your legs rest on top of your thighs. On top of your blanket, sorry. Thighs releasing towards the floor. Palms facing up, shoulder blades down your back, Shavasana. Slowly inhale through your nose. Exhale, soften and release. Feeling yourself just become more settled with each exhalation. Slow down your breathing and your thoughts. Just lie here and be still for a few moments. So start to bring your mind into focus. Move your fingers and your toes. And then slowly bend your knees and roll to your side, let your head rest on top of your arm. And just rise up to have a seat. Sit with your legs crossed, close your eyes. Just take a moment to reflect on your practice. Thinking what positive qualities from practice you can bring into your daily life. And let's bring our palms together and recite Om on the exhalation. Slowly inhale. Om. Namaste.